In 1994, with the election of Nelson Mandela and a unity government in place, things were looking good for South Africa, at least on paper. However, issues like financial inequality, poverty, unemployment, social exclusion and marginalization of minorities and undocumented migrants created much tension in the Rainbow Nation. Also becoming a world leader in murder, rape, car hijackings, murder of white farmers, kidnapping, corruption and xenophobia. South Africa in the eyes of many is a failed state, and many in the West will state the nation was ran better under the National Party, which was the apartheid regime. In the year 1997, it is estimated nearly 1 million Afrikaners left South Africa as they saw the writing on the walls, out of a population of approximately 5.3 million. Many still leave, as crime is still at epidemic status with no end in sight. Gated communities that many white South Africans live in have the resemblance of prisons, with high walls, all doors and windows having bars on them with tamper-resistance qualities, and private security guards roaming 24 hours a day just as they do in the prison. The quality of life has fallen drastically compared to Western standards, and with such government actions as black economic empowerment, which is a form of affirmative action. The final straw might very well be land reform. If the government of President Cyril Ramaphosa implements land reform which does in fact take property from white Afrikaners, I would certainly bet many will not give up their land, at least not peacefully. The rhetoric of Julius Malema, the fat boy who is the leader of the economic freedom fighters, the Marxist Afrocentric political party who is openly racist against the white minority, calling for land seizure, economic seizure and many other forms of forced discrimination and violence, only stirs the pot for potential violence to occur. As I stated in my previous video, Malema has many allies in the African National Congress, and a secret deal was reached between ANC collaborators and the EFF. In his opening address to the nation, President Ramaphosa spoke the words Jacob Zuma never would: expropriate land without compensation. After facing much backlash in the international world, a senior ANC official said on Tuesday, March 6, 2018 that the policy would mainly target unused land. President Cyril Ramaphosa informed ratings agency Moody's on Wednesday that a drive to expropriate land without compensation would be done in a way that would not harm the economy or food security. We stand now with both African National Congress and the economic freedom fighters both in solidarity on the issue of land reform without compensation. I do not even mention the Democratic Alliance, as you notice, as at this point they are insignificant regarding this issue. This leaves the Afrikaners, the Boers, and the whites of South Africa to fend for themselves once again. Without any definite structure or leadership in the white minority, it makes things rather difficult as far as a unified voice of resistance is concerned. This allows the ANC and EFF to walk all over the white minority. If and when land reform without compensation does begin, we can certainly expect at least one Boer to put up an armed resistance. That gentleman or group will die a martyr's death. If the events of land seizure turn into armed struggles, it will be the military and government-loyal paramilitary groups who respond to land seizure from that point on. It has the potential to turn into an insurgency for the white minority, just as the Second Boer War was fought from the year 1900 and on. Guerrilla warfare will almost certainly be adapted given an armed resistance. We can expect the EFF to become an armed terrorist group, the ANC resorting back to the ways of the paramilitary Winamkunda Wisizwe, and the military mostly remaining loyal to the government. I would expect the elite ranks of the military, such as the Special Forces Brigade, to break rank and operate independently. With an ineffective Air Force and Navy, this would primarily be a small arms conflict unless it turned into a full-on ethnic cleansing of the white minority. There is the potential of the use of chemical and biological weapons of mass destruction to be used by either side in the breakout of an ethnic cleansing event. Urban combat would resemble Iraqi insurgency, with the rural theater playing out exactly like the original Boer commandos. If you are familiar with Senior van Rensburg, he mentions another uprising of the Boers just like against the British, except this time there will be more of you and it will be fought differently. With the aid from allies the Afrikaners are victorious. Only the Afrikaners can decide their fate. All of a sudden, Senior van Rensburg is starting to sound a bit more credible every day, thanks to folks like Mr. Julius Malema and Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. In short, to expropriate land without compensation will more than likely lead to a civil war. I would suggest those watching, especially the farmers and landowners, to make a choice, either stay and prepare to defend your sovereignty or torch your farm if you are a pacifist if the time comes. To willfully give up what is yours is giving into tyranny. Fear not but the Lord. Heed preparation and become one Afrikaner nation under the Virkeler once again. To those watching, even if you are far far away, first and foremost, pray. Pray for peace. Pray that nobody has to die unnecessarily. Pray that God can turn these wicked men's hearts pure and fill them with knowledge, compassion and reason. Pray for steadfast resolute in the face of adversity, that if trials do arise they are quick to end and that the decisions made are the proper ones. Pray for the safety of your loved ones, yourself and even those whom you do not agree with. Pray from the deliverance from evil. The future does appear grim with much uncertainty for the Afrikaner.